went to Lake Havasu.
Yep, in Arizona.
I think I saw Lake Havasu on Pinterest.
You did, yeah.
And I thought, we have to go.
We were in Arizona at the time anyway, so
Yes.
it felt like a good time to go. We picked it so that we would have a good camping spot.
Yes.
Which I didn't do the math on. The reason why we had a good camping spot was because it was in the middle of summer and it was 120 degrees.
Yeah, so we decided if we go, we're camping.
Right.
And we wanted to be right on the lake, like right on it. Phil got us on the beach campsite, but he's right. We were then there in the middle of summer, but for the record, that is when we were on our 3-month assignment, was in the summer.
Muy caliente.
So it was really hot.
Yeah.
On the way there, our car almost overheated because that's how hot it was.
Yeah, it was so hot that the AC wasn't working. So it was basically just blowing out as cold of air as it could get to, but that air was still at 90 degrees.
Let's first just talk about the campsite. So where was the campsite at?
Lake Havasu State Park. It was bookable online. I think we were in campsite 4.
The campsite, as soon as we arrived, we got our tent in this middle spot that we were really excited about. And that is the first thing I will say that was very beautiful, very cool. The campsite was legit right on the water.
Yeah, to the point where we set up our tent 20 feet away from the water, but we were able to sleep literally next to the water. Like, we were right there.
Yes. It got so hot. We actually slept outside under the stars on our yoga mats. Probably one of the main things we did because it was so hot is we were in the water, and that part was really cool too. The water is very green.
Yeah, the lake was great. Like she said, water was green. There was a lot of people doing boating and stuff like that, but we were close enough to the shore that it wasn't bad.
And because we did go and it was so hot, the water actually
felt great.
It felt great. It was not too cold, but it cooled you down. So that part I do think was one of the pluses.
Yeah.
Our campsite had this little, I don't know if it was supposed to be a Zen garden. Zen garden might be what it was, but it was just like a little walk from where we were. So the very first night we got there, since the sun was kind of going down after we got into the lake, we did go like hike this little Zen garden. And that was actually cool because the sun was more down, so it wasn't as hot and the views were that was nice.
Did not zen me very well. But
I think Phil was still really hot at this point.
Tough to zen me at that point.
Yeah.
But it was cool.
It
was a
cool.
nice little garden.
morning, we're like, okay, pluses and minuses. The lake was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The campsite is giving us so like great views,
It's good views,
which is
yeah.
why it looks great on Pinterest. The photo ops is awesome. But then we were like, okay, our camping neighbors are frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, okay, it's super hot.
Yep.
So me and Phil are sitting on this yoga mat right on the water, just being zen. Phil tells me a storm is coming. I think a storm is coming. Or you knew a storm was coming.
Well, yes.
But I don't think we understood the extent.
No. I thought it was gonna rain.
Yeah. We thought we can deal
But
with that.
I didn't know.
So we look over. I'm not kidding you. We're sitting on basically like the water's like wave coming up to our feet. And I look over down the lake and I just see that it looks just like a blur. And I think, I'm like, I turn to Phil and I say, okay, the storm is coming. But that wasn't enough of time.
Yeah, it's starting to get windy. It's starting to get a little rainy. Things are blowing around, but we figure we could tie our tent down and
we'll
sit
get
in our
this.
tent and wait
we'll
it
be
out.
like, no.
Nope, didn't work like
The
that.
biggest sand windstorm just goes like boom. So it gets so crazy. So we're rushing to get as much into the car as possible. We did actually get a decent amount in the car. Now our tent's almost blowing away. So I like run to get into the tent to at least just be in the tent so it can't blow away.
Right.
At the same time, our neighbors who are in an RV, their stuff was like tied down by the lake, floaties and stuff. This stuff starts blowing away, going everywhere.
Right.
So Phil goes to help them. But Phil doesn't know that in the tent is literally the worst.
It's apocalypse.
I'm trying to get everything together because we had some stuff we have like a little pocket, so much sand.
And I can't hear her either. She's
No.
like calling out for me, but I can't hear
so much
anything.
sand is blowing into the tent.
Right.
I literally can't even see. The tent keeps folding on top of me. I'm like, Phil! I'm yelling for him because he was all like, I didn't know where he had gone to. And it was so bad. And he finally comes back and I'm like, you left me. I was so mad.
I did feel bad.
He did.
I just there were things blowing directly at me and there were people chasing after them.
Yeah.
But their things were blowing like multiple directions. So
Oh my
they weren't
God,
the most
that's
with it people.
Oh my
and they
God.
had their grandkids with them. So they weren't ready
No,
to tackle this
I know it.
situation.
Okay.
So I went to grab something and I just didn't. I just thought I'll just put this down.
And Kelsey's
move
got
back.
it.
And Kelsey's okay.
And Kelsey
but Kelsey
did
not got it. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, and literally we cannot make this story up. This is legit.
Yeah.
Just the I swear to you guys too, we're sitting on these yoga mats and then it's just
Yeah,
oh,
it was
crap.
There was
and the
10
wind was
minutes.
just
It
boom.
was very quick.
Luckily, we had already had some stuff in the car, but now we're we gotta get this tent down. So now that Phil has finally come back, we get everything in the car. But now even our pillows that were in the tent are
Everything has
and it's so much sand I can't even describe. You can't even just go dust. It was in it.
And now it's pouring rain.
Oh.
Too. So we can't. It's not like we can go shake it out outside.
Yeah, well, we couldn't have shaken it down anyway because it was still windy. So you and I were lucky enough that because we are minimalists and we literally just bring the bare minimum,
Right.
we did get everything in our crossover SUV, which was also a good thing that we had a decent size. And we're just sitting in it and it's just raining.
Yeah.
And at this point...
It's pretty early still. It's 8 a.m.
It's
There's
8
still
a.m.
nothing for us to do.
No,
it's not like
it's
we
8
can go
a.m.
see a movie or anything. It's 8 a.m.
So we are sitting in this car. It's raining. I'm just still oh my gosh. Because I just went through the worst experience in this tent. And Phil feels so bad, but he's also holy crap, our car's so unorganized. This is a mess.
And to be fair, up to that point, you had handled the heat a lot better than I had.
I had handled the heat
Because
better.
I was in a pretty bad
was
spot
already
at that point.
pissed.
I was we should go home.
He
now.
was I hate the heat. So we calmed down. We said, let's just go run an errand. But we still look pretty not well kept because we have these stains from all this bug spray that we had to overspray on us.
Yeah,
we hadn't showered, we're sweating. So I think nothing's open, as Phil said. So we go to CVS.
We wander around there aimlessly.
Because we're like, this is the only thing open. And then
I actually think by the time that we decided to go to CVS and do the other stuff, we ended up, it was, by the time we got into CVS, it was like 10 or
That's
something
true.
like that.
We waited in the car.
And so we had
for a
to
while.
kill 30 minutes. Like, we were just sitting on our phones or whatever. We had to kill 30 minutes in CVS. That's why we wandered around aimlessly, because we decided we need to eat something. So we were waiting for Chili's to open.
We just wanted
we
food.
just needed to wander aimlessly.
At some point, the rain has now stopped, and we're like, okay, we still don't know what we're going to do, because we don't throw in the towel easily. We're both very stubborn.
Right.
So still up to this point, we're both like, we're going to make this work.
Yeah.
So we get back, and at least the rain has stopped. So and the wind has calmed down. So we get back to our campsite, get everything out of the car, try cleaning as best as we can, actually get stuff packed up, that whole thing. And we're like, and it starts to drizzle a little bit. So we're like, let's just walk around, enjoy these views.
Yeah, because there's a little bit of hiking there and everything,
And so we sit on this bench just right by the lake and just hang out and talk and enjoy the views. And at some point we decide, I still don't think we knew if we were going to leave or not, but Phil said, there's one thing we should do when we're here. We should go see London Bridge.
Which I actually didn't even know that it was actual London Bridge.
Yeah.
And then I looked it up and it was, so that's,
I guess,
I just knew it was something cool to see.
like it's like a tourist
Havasu.
attraction. Yeah. So it's called the London Bridge, and it actually is
the original.
The original.
Bridge.
We like
they
bought
it over.
Yeah, we bought it from them.
Yeah.
And I would say that was like that I do think helped a little bit, because now we're like, okay, we're actually doing something, and it was cute to see the bridge.
Yeah.
That's where I found my donut floaty,
Right.
so that I was like,
Killed
yes.
a little time for us.
Killed some time. We got to walk around,
So we go and hike.
which was that was a cool
Yeah,
thing.
we ended up like kind of at an observation point.
We get through the hike, or I think
started,
halfway.
Yeah, and it's probably about noon by now, maybe 1 or 2, and it's starting to get warmer. I think
I
it's
would
like
say
noon.
hot.
I think it's
I wouldn't even say
pretty
warmer.
hot.
It's now hot.
So we're like, okay, I don't think either of us really want to stay.
No.
But we want to get back in the lake again. So we make that our new plan to get back in the lake, hang out in the lake for a little while,
as long
stay
as
cool.
we want, as many hours as we want, and the moment we're done with
and
the
then
lake,
we'll leave and
we're calling it. We're
we're
cutting.
gonna go find a nice hotel in Phoenix.
And at some point, we went and I bought a donut floaty, and I still own that donut floaty, and I love my donut floaty. Positives, it is beautiful. We have a picture, I think, of just some pictures from it that I thought, okay, this is why I saw this on Pinterest and wanted to go there. I do think, like we said, it was a little bit of it happens sometimes. Sometimes a random giant dust storm comes.
I mean, I think it's a normal lake, but honestly, we were in Arizona for most of the summer.
Yeah.
And there's not a ton of other lakes. So it's probably a pretty cool place to see in that area.
That's a good point. So basically we would say, check out Lake Havasu. And all in all, obviously we had a good time because we have a good time on all of our vacations and make the most of it. Tell me why you hated it. It was super hot.
We went through kind of stages. Like when we got there, we were really hot. We didn't know if we were going to make it even the night. Then we get through a little bit of the night. We felt okay when we woke up. Like we were still not great. And then it started getting hot again. We were like, no. Okay. Adios.
Amigos. I'm just going to get out right now just so we don't have to keep going through this.
I wasn't that impressed with it.